country would be a lot better off. It is true that I have been concerned for a long time. Matter of fact, it was in 1971 that I had sort of a moment of enlightenment, because I had gotten involved in studying Austrian economics in the 60s. And there was a prediction made in the 60s. As a matter of fact, an early prediction was like in 1945 when the Bretton Woods, I think Bretton Woods is not too far from here, where they made the plans for international management of currency, and they had this Bretton Woods agreement. But it broke down in August 15, 1971, and by that time I had a fairly good understanding of Austrian economics, and I thought, boy, this means that the door is going to be open. It's going to be open for spending and deficits and intervention overseas and welfarism and special interest government. And for that reason, I ran for the very first time in 1974. But my concerns back in the 70s have actually been justified, because it has been perpetual, it has been steady. And if you look at all the economic curves, if you're studying economics, you can find the economic statistics, you see many things, whether it's a CPI or spending or deficit, goes along like this, and then it shoots up like this. And it represents the fact that we have allowed our politicians and our governments to be run totally out of control without any restraint. But the one thing that was obvious to many of us who studied Austrian economics, it was unsustainable. But there's also something in Austrian economics that teaches that although we may know trends, we do not know timing. So in many ways, I'm quite surprised that it has lasted this long, and consider it fortunate. Because if it would have happened 10 years ago, we wouldn't have had you, this new generation that cares a lot more about it than those in the previous generation, that care actually about doing things like ending the Fed and a few other things. But it looks like it is coming to an end. It isn't going to be papered over again. The many recessions that have occurred since 1971 have been taken care of short-term by spending more, printing more, and then borrowing more. So we finally get to the very, very big bubble. And I consider the big bubble bursting in the year 2000, not 2008, but 2000, when the NASDAQ bubble burst. This was an introduction to a bad decade, which has continued. Standard of living has gone down for more than just a couple of years. It's been going down for more than 10 years. But this time, they've tried all the old tricks, and all the old tricks involve, well, we're in trouble now, and they believe in Keynesian economics, which says, well, the problem is that the people aren't spending enough money. So if we just print money and give it to the people, they're going to spend money and everything's going to be okay. So what has the Congress done? They came along with TARP funds, they printed a lot of money and passed it out, and the Fed did the same thing. Not $100 billion or $200 billion, hundreds of billions of dollars, and now many trillions of dollars. And the real tragedy is that there's more money printed and passed out by the Federal Reserve in secret than even what the Congress is doing. That's how much out of control this is. This is why if we don't end the Fed tomorrow, at least we have to have transparency, and we better get a clean audit of what the Fed has been up to for the last 10 years.